And then, as you know, we have a spiritual awakening. We start questioning our reality. We start questioning our ideals. We start questioning who we are. We start questioning our authenticity. And it becomes this moment of really getting clear and asking yourself, well, who am I beyond all this garbage I've been fed? And who is that person who is beyond the noise, beyond the judgment, beyond the insecurities, beyond all of this stuff? And what is that person going to do differently? Because that's the true rising into the authentic self. It's the moment when you start to realize that you are bigger than your own bullshit, and you have to really get clear and get accountable with yourself. Hey guys, it's Ash from The Awakened State. So today I really wanted to talk about external influence and how it can really fuck with our intuition. And this can honestly really shift you, because you can start to understand that when you're feeling into being externally influenced, it can kind of mess with your own intuitive magic, your own intuitive nature of who you are. So we have to realize that growing up, we have kind of always had this absorption kind of happening, you know, like a lot of us have grown up in a way where we're just mirroring our parents. We're absorbing the patterns. 0 to 7 is what it's scientifically documented. We're basically in this place where we're absorbing all of these patterns and absorbing what is outside of us. And then a lot of us have, what we have is social norms, and then we have those social norms and the cultural norms, and all of these things become this influencing channel of how we become so externally influenced. And then, as you know, we have a spiritual awakening. We start questioning our reality. We start questioning our ideals. We start questioning who we are. We start questioning our authenticity. And it becomes this moment of really getting clear and asking yourself, well, who am I beyond all this garbage I've been fed? And who is that person who is beyond the noise, beyond the judgment, beyond the insecurities, beyond all of this stuff? And what is that person going to do differently? Because that's the true rising into the authentic self. It's the moment when you start to realize that you are bigger than your own bullshit, and you have to really get clear and get accountable with yourself, so that when you have those moments of feeling externally triggered and externally influenced, and you're allowing that mindless scrolling to get the better of you, you have to have that level of discernment and intuitive power within you to be like, actually, that doesn't need to affect me. Actually, I don't need to feed into that right now. Actually, I can just use my own discernment and just walk away. Because when we allow ourselves to be so externally influenced, we can start changing the channel so frequently that we kind of lose ourselves in a downward spiral. So what I mean by this is, if you just think about the fact of like social media. 1 minute you're scrolling social media, you get into a fight with somebody, you start commenting somebody, you start commenting another person, you start commenting another person. Before you know it, you're having a really shitty day, and you're like, how did that happen? I don't know. Because energetically, when we feed on a ton of different people, and I mean this like when we don't have discernment and a solid foundation in place, we will go where the wind takes us every time, because we're allowing our energy to drift from flower to flower to flower to flower. And when we do that, we're losing the discernment and the intuitive connection within ourselves. So I just like to say that I know exactly what this feels like, because I used to do it a ton when I first started my business. It would be like, well, here's a free webinar, then here's a nice download, and then this person's telling me to do this, so I should go try that. And then now I need to go try webinars, and now I need to go try checklists, and now I need to do resource libraries, and now I need to do another thing. And this coach is telling me to do it this way, and this coach is telling me to use this strategy, and now I need to do another strategy over here, and now I need to do something over here. And before you know it, you are frazzled, overwhelmed, and you're not doing anything. And the reality is because of the external influence, you can't see clearly anymore. You cannot hear yourself. You cannot use your own discernment and intuitive magic anymore because you're filtering it out with so much garbage around you that you can't hear yourself anymore. This is a problem because now you're allowing yourself to be reactively triggered, reactively thrown down the rabbit hole, reactively thrown over here, reactively thrown over there, and before you know it, you don't know what the hell you're doing. And you're confused, and you're overwhelmed, and you're just like, I need to do this laundry list of things, and I need to do this, and I'm over here fighting with so-and-so, and I'm over here, and then now I'm in a debate with someone, and now I'm doing this. When we don't have that solid foundation in place, we will literally feel like a butterfly fluttering flower to flower to flower to flower and not remembering how the hell we got there because we're not tuning back in. We're not tuning back into our energy, our discernment, our intuitive magic. And instead, we're letting the fear and the reactivity and the absorption drive us. So it's about really planting yourself in. When we plant ourselves in, we're moving back into alignment with who we truly are. And the thing that's so powerful and so beautiful about this is when you start to do that, you can see clearly again. And this doesn't mean that there's never time for like social media scrolling or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you're planted in firmly, you can see clearly. And when you see clearly, you now have the discernment on what is bullshit, where you need to go, what you need to do, what your priorities are, what your values are, where you want to spend your time. When we do this, we're operating from our intuition. And from that place, we open up so much more possibilities and magic and the right signs and synchronicities and all of that when we allow ourselves to go there, because now we're in alignment. And let me tell you something, like alignment feels like this orgasm happening in your mind where all of a sudden everything clicks. Everything just falls into place. The right signs, the right symbols, the right teachers, the right clients, the right people, everything just begins to windfall and catapult you in knowing that you're just in this momentum and you weren't able to see it because you were clouding it up with so much noise. In the moment that you say enough is enough and I'm done and I'm choosing to operate from soul, I'm choosing to operate from my intuition, now we're in this place where we are truly allowing ourselves to be guided from within, being self-led, being self-aware, being self-guided. Then the alignment shows us the true path. The alignment shows us drop all the noise, hear yourself again, listen deeper, hear yourself. And then it's almost like, you know, the yellow brick road, or like this moment of just like the path reveals itself, or this moment where the bricks are being laid out for you, or you don't even realize it because you've had your eyes closed the entire time that you're just like, oh, there it was. There's the path. I had my feet on it the entire time, but I couldn't see it because I was over here trying to figure out webinars. And that's the thing. You have to have that level of intuitive magic. You have to stop letting yourself be so profoundly externally influenced that you can allow yourself to use that discernment and be self-guided. When we're self-guided, we're operating from a totally different energy that can literally feel like an orgasm happening in your mind, because it's not just about feeling good to feel good. It's about when you're in a state of alignment, like the clarity just happens. The movement just suddenly happens. Like people will say mindset and magnetism, but magnetism is literally magnetism. It's a moment where when you're in alignment, you're in this state where you almost are pulled. You're in like a pulling energy. And when you're in that state of being pulled, you just naturally, automatically feel, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. I should do a video on this. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this today. It just flows. And instead of being like, it's like I'm spending like an hour on my phone, I'm doing all these things, and then before you know it, I'm like, what the heck happened to the day? I don't know what I was supposed to do, this, and this. But when did I have the time? I forgot that I had to do this, and then I decided it just makes you completely unfocused. So one of the most powerful things for a third eye chakra is learning how to get focused, learning how to create discernment, learning how to know when you're in fear versus soul, learning how to tune your energy to the right channel. That will change everything, because then you're in alignment. Alignment is the moment where the true path reveals itself. Like, I always find it funny how so many people like make alignment seem like it's this moment where it's like everything feels good and you're higher vibrational 5D ascension vibes. And it's like, actually, alignment is magnetism. Alignment is the moment where you're manifesting and suddenly it becomes easy. Suddenly it falls from the sky, not because you're not doing anything, but because you're pulled. You're pulled into action. The action feels easy. The action feels effortless. You suddenly get the ideas. You suddenly get the spiritual downloads. You suddenly get all these things because you're being self-led, because you're being self-guided. And that's like one of the hugest disconnects that I frequently see. And I feel like that is the missing piece for so many people when it comes to really cultivating your intuition. So that is your awakening tip for this week. So today, well, not today, but this week, I've been deciding we're going to start doing weekly episodes at YouTube. Video has been such a fun, beautiful healing tool for me. So I've been getting better at it. I've been working on how to master my own critiques. And now we're doing new episodes every Friday. So tune in, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell. See you next week.